Hello there, Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and I'm about to speak with Combate America's atomweight, Kyra Batara, as she is set to take on Vanessa Fernandez at Combate Once, which is number 11, on February 16th. So let's give Kyra a call and find out what she's been up to since her last fight, which was in Rizin Fighting Federation. Find out what we can expect from her in Combate Once, and find out who she's been training with as of late. Mrs. Kyra Batara, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking out the time. I know you got to head to class here soon, so I won't take up too much of your time. You're headed back to Combate Americas for Combate Once. You're pretty fresh off of a fight in Rizin over in Japan. Now, how did that fight come to be? You're 3-0 in Combate Americas, but you went and took a fight over in Rizin. What was the reason for that?
Yeah, I've been signed with Combate. I'm in a multi-fight deal with them, and I was selected out of our pool of fighters to go represent them for Rizin. They had guys that they wanted. They were talking about Ricky Palacios also fighting for them, but they ended up taking me to fight their superstar, Kanako Murata, who was actually a 125er, and I'm a 105er, so we met in the middle at 115. It was definitely a really big jump up. That weigh-ins, I was like, oh, it's fine. She's small. The next day, she's towering over me. She's jacked. I'm like, I'm a 105er. This is too big for me. So, I mean, that's gonna be my last professional fight at 115. I kind of did it just to get my foot in the door. Combate really wanted me to do it. Combate always talks about me being the Ronda Rousey of the organization. So it's a give and take. I know that, and they wanted me to fight for them. So I was about it. I believed in them. They told me that it'd be a really good fight for me, good exposure. So I was definitely all over that, knowing that it was a potential loss for me. I did go to decision. I got that loss in my record now, but I learned a lot from it. It was a great experience. Me and my mom got to go to Tokyo Disneyland after. It was a lot of fun. I wouldn't have changed anything.
Okay. And so, how was the experience being at Rizin? I mean, they always do pretty big intros and just a big production, really. What did it feel like being a part of such a big event?
See, that's where I was really excited because all growing up, I watched Pride. And so I have Pride VHS tapes, and to be able to go and fight for them, I had Vanderlei right there. So different than any MMA fights out here. You hear a lot of drunk people say stupid stuff in the crowd, and you'll never hear that in Japan. They have so much respect. It's dead silent. You could hear your coaches perfectly. So I got to look over, and I saw Vanderlei coaching me from ringside, and that was enough for me.
Combate Americas 3-0. Your debut, you picked up a unanimous decision victory, followed by two consecutive TKOs. Very impressive. Your grappling was really on display. A near twister in both of them, really, in your last two finishes. What is it about the twister? Is that like your go-to move, or you just happen to catch yourself in that position, or what is it about it?
It definitely is one of my go-to moves. Being that it is a wrestling move and a jiu-jitsu move, I like to say that my style is a scrappler. And so I won't put the TKO, but I have the jiu-jitsu, and I feel like the twister was my go-to. I can eliminate as many limbs as possible and still get the submission, or I could go for the TKO. And no one really believed me that I could finish the fight like that. But then when I got that position, I was like, okay, Korean Zombie already finished the twister. I need to do Angela Lee finish the twister. I need to do something fresh, something that's everyone's gonna be hyped over. And I had Eddie Bravo in my corner. Eddie Bravo is known for the twister. I've been repping 10th Planet since I was 13 years old. So I have to do my 10th Planet moves, but put that little Mogwai funk on it. So I hit her and 20 punches deep. I hear Herb Dean, you gotta protect yourself, and they called it about 48 punches, I think we counted.
I counted 1,000,002, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, I mean, she wasn't, there was nothing she could do. She was dead to rights, not intelligently defending herself. What'd you think of the stoppage? You think it could have gone on longer, or that would have been unnecessary, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I know that she was arguing that a lot. Her coach is arguing it. She made this whole Twitter message about how she thought it was an early stoppage, how it wasn't a good stoppage. But I mean, there was no way that she was gonna go anywhere. I don't. If you've ever been put in the twister, you know you're kind of like screwed in that position. I have your leg trapped. I have your hips trapped. I had one arm behind my back. If I grabbed her other hand, like she would have just been taking so much more damage. And so I know that there are small punches, but those small punches add up real quick. And I could have finished the submission too if they didn't stop it from there. So Herb Dean, he's one of the best in the game. So you know, if Herb Dean stopped it's legit.
Yeah, I mean, I would always rather see an early stoppage than a late stoppage. That's for sure. Now, in that fight, like Eddie Bravo was in your corner. I think I saw Phil Baroni ringside. Was he there for that as well?
Yeah, that's what was really cool. I had Casey Halstead, who's a black belt under Eddie Bravo. I had Eddie Bravo himself. I had Victor Davila, who's also a black belt. And I had Phil Baroni and my dad. So it's like, well, the cornering, but they're all in my crowd. They're all front row. I heard them all yelling for me. So having all those high-level, big-name guys that are cheering for me, that helped me prepare for that camp, Phil Baroni definitely put that wrestler grind into my mentality. I come from a wrestling background, which Eddie told me he kind of forced me to wrestle all through high school. And working with Phil again, being back in the wrestling room, he was one of the coaches with Kevin Randleman. He was very good friends with him. So after he passed away, he started coaching more at Monster Wrestling. So being in the room with all the kids, the wrestling room, I did a lot of striking with him for that fight. I felt like it gave me that hunger to get that TKO finish too in that fight.
Okay, what's Baroni up to? You said he's coaching wrestling now. Is he? You think he'll fight again?
He was trying to fight. He was actually trying to get on the same card as me in Japan. That didn't fall through. I know that he went to Thailand for a while. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but I think he's trying to fight again. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, now how did it feel getting that twister TKO, we'll call, in front of Eddie Bravo?
That was the best thing in my life. Like, he's always so proud of me regardless. But he's been in my corner since I was 13. He coached me at my very first World Jiu-Jitsu tournament. And so to get that win, he was just so happy. I've never seen him smile so big. And he posts all over his Instagram, Kyra invented the twist and pound. I'm so proud of her. And just to make him proud, being that all his hard work, all the time and energy, he coaches Monday through Friday every single week. Like, he does so many seminars. He has a little baby boy, Draco, and he's still so invested in jiu-jitsu, doing so much for the sport. So being able to have these little wins for him, it means so much to me to make him proud.
Okay. Now, your last fight over in Rizin, over in Japan, your opponent, Kanako Murata, definitely a grinder, definitely a larger opponent. What'd you think of your performance, considering the size discrepancy?
I honestly thought a lot had to do with just the weight. It was a heavier weight for me, so I was the smaller fighter going into it. I didn't have a whole lot of time to bulk up for that fight. I was preparing for a 105 fight back in August, which I ended up pulling out. I was also coming off an injury, so I couldn't run. I couldn't do a lot of the cardio that I was doing, so I had to swim a lot. I had to do a lot of just easy, light movements, a lot of kettlebells, so I wasn't as prepared as my body should have been going into that fight. But I think that my striking was good. It was the ring, it was Japan, the travel, the rules. But yeah, I honestly feel if I fought her again here in the States, in my cage, my town, any town really, if I fought her in the States in a cage, it'd be a completely different story.
Okay, now, we've seen people go from Combate Americas to Rizin. Will we see people go from Rizin to Combates, maybe?
Well, actually, the past Rizin card, Alyssa Garcia just fought one of their Japan girls, beat her, and she just signed a multi-fight deal with Combate. So she's actually on the same card as me. She's fighting Kiana Rain, same night, February 16th, down in Burbank. Whoever wins that fight, I see that matchup coming.
Okay. Do you have a preference on who you would rather face, and do you have a prediction for that bout?
I fought Kiana. I fought Kiana back last June, about a year and a half ago now, and I lost by decision, majority decision. But going into that fight camp, I didn't have a good camp. I had a bad coach. I've changed a lot since then. I was 20 years old. I'm 22 now, so my body's changing. I'm learning a lot more. I'm a completely different fighter. I learn from my mistakes. If it does go to Kiana, I want that rematch. I want to redeem myself. But if it does go to Alyssa, she's being hyped up right now as one of the top 105ers to look out for. She did just fight in Japan. She actually fought one of the girls I beat. So if she beats Kiana, and my opponent that I beat her. So it's kind of like, all right, you beat my girl, I beat your girl. Let's see where we're at.
I dig it. I mean, I think that'd be interesting for sure. Now, what do you think is going to happen with the Combate atomweight division? They're kind of building it up. You think there's going to be a title here in the near future, maybe?
Combate did announce that, so for this fight, we did call out the top 10 girls. We called out Julia Jones. We called out Tessa Simpson. We called out B-Win. We called out the girl that Alyssa Garcia just fought in Japan. So all these high-level names, I forget another Japan girl, but we called out a lot of hyped atomweights right now, and they didn't fall through. So we had to look elsewhere. We went to Spain, and so that's where Vanessa Fernandez is coming from. She's from Spain. She's a 8-time judo champ, but she does only have 4 fights. And so Combate believed that she wasn't ready for a title shot with me or deserving of a title shot with me. But they said that after this fight, I will be presented the belt inside the cage when I win.
Awesome. Hey, I dig it. You already know the outcome. That's beautiful. Now,
Yeah.
so Vanessa Fernandez, she's 2-2, like you said. 2 wins by submission, 2 losses by submission. Have you been able to scout her at all? Maybe see some footage, or how do you peg her?
Yeah, that's just really hard because she is from Spain, and I only found 2 fights on her. There's not a lot to study on her, and one of the fights, it was very choppy. I couldn't really see a lot, and the one fight that was a very clear recording ended in the first round. There wasn't any strikes thrown. She got a very beautiful fireman's carry early in the first round, but then she ended up in an ankle lock by a boxer. So it's like it's kind of confusing. She got submitted by a boxer, but she does have submission wins. But she had a beautiful throw, so it's kind of like, okay, where do I want to bring this fight? I know she has a very strong judo background, but I believe in my jiu-jitsu so much. I have Eddie Bravo in my corner. I'm coming from Carlson Gracie. I'm now training at True Fusion, who's giving me like the best cardio of my life. So I know that wherever the fight goes, I'm gonna be prepared. I just need to look out for that throw. I have better hips. I have better jiu-jitsu. I have better cardio. I know wherever it goes, I'm ready.
Awesome. Will Eddie Bravo be in your corner for this fight?
He will be. He's always in my corner when I'm in LA.
Okay, awesome. So you're kind of like his protege, if you will.
Definitely. He raised me. I was 13 years old when he met me, and he helped me grow my dream. He was one of the very first people that I shared my dream of being a mixed martial artist with. I told him from a very young age, Eddie, I want to do this. I want to be a fighter. And he looked at me and was one of the very first people that told me, I think you're going to be a champion one day. I know you're going to be a champion one day. So for a 13-year-old kid to hear that from a name like Eddie Bravo, it just sparked a fire in me, and I was like, all right, I'm going to show you I will be a champion. I'm going to work my ass off, and I have ever since that day.
Awesome. It kind of sounds like it's setting up, if Alyssa Garcia wins her fight, to be Josh Barnett's protege versus Eddie Bravo's protege. And that adds even more excitement.
Amazing. I'm excited. I honestly want that. Kiana, like I said, I want Kiana because then I can redeem myself. But if Alyssa, that's great. She's a wrestler. No one's been able to challenge my wrestling yet. So coming from her wrestling background, being Josh Barnett's protege, I have Eddie Bravo. I think it'll be a really fun fight.
Absolutely. Well, how do you see this fight playing out on the 16th? You think you're going to get a finish or decision, or because she's never seen a third round, so that might be an option as well. What do you think?
Well, I am coming off 2 TKO finishes. After my Japan fight, I took a step back, reevaluated everything, and I didn't stick to my jiu-jitsu. I had very strong wrestling in that fight, but my hips were fast. I switched right back up to my feet, but my jiu-jitsu wasn't there. So I did take some time to focus on that. I did NABJJF Worlds, IBJJF Worlds, just did the Submission Underground for Chael Sonnen, and I beat a brown belt in that. So my goal in 2017 is to get my brown belt. I want that submission. I'm actually getting walkout shirts made. It says protect your neck. It has a little Mogwai on it. They're really cute, but that's how I predict this fight. I'm going to be headhunting. I'm going to get that submission. I'm going to get that choke.
Okay, awesome. So maybe like a rear naked choke from a twister or something wild like dope. That, or some rubber guard stuff maybe. I don't know. 10th Planet. Are you training at 10th Planet for this?
I did train with Scott Epstein earlier in this camp for this. He's at West LA. He was actually the person that gave me the name Mogwai. So he was the one that's helped me from the start as well. He comes from an MMA background, so he kind of helps me more of that MMA, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. He helped me, but I talk to Eddie all the time. I'm constantly drilling 10th Planet moves at the house with my dad. My dad will be cornering me for this fight as well. So I'm right now for this camp, I am at Carlson Gracie full-time, but training 10th Planet moves at the house with my dad.
Okay, awesome. Well, do you have any sponsors or people you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, I really want to thank True Fusion, Holy Sheets over in Vegas, best sheets in the world, Valley Spine, they're keeping me healthy, my chiropractor at Valley Spine, Palmer Electric, Sweet Sweat, Lana's Egg Whites, Quest Nutrition, and Real Water, best water out there.
Okay.
Also, I'll be holding an event. My sister's best friend in Portland, he's 18 years old. It's just him and his mom, helping to support his mom. He just got diagnosed with leukemia.
Oh, no.
And so I am dedicating this fight to him. Hashtag support Cleon's fight. Right after weigh-ins, I'll be holding an event. All of my sponsors that I mentioned, they're all donating different prizes for a raffle I'll be having. $5 for the raffle. All donations welcome. Trying to raise awareness for leukemia, raise money for him to help his cause. Hashtag support Cleon's fight. Dedicating this fight to him.
Awesome. I respect it. I dig it. I like it. Now, how can people follow you on your journey? What are your social media outlets, your Twitter handles, Facebook?
Everything's the same, just my name, Kyra Batara, Kyra Batara, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Again, look for those links. Follow my journey, follow my fight. It's next week, February 16th in LA, UFC Fight Pass, Azteca TV, and as well, look on my GoFundMe. Please go on the GoFundMe for Cleon. Any donations welcome. All sponsors are welcome if they want to get in. I will be having an event next week in Burbank, and I'll also be having one a week post-fight celebration, also donating for his cause. Awesome.
Very busy. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, Kyra Batara, thank you so much for taking out the time. Vanessa Fernandez is on your plate. Combate Once, February 16th. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
So there you have it. Eddie Bravo's protege, Kyra Batara, set to take on Vanessa Fernandez at Combate Once, which is number 11, on February 16th. In the meantime, you can read me on bloodyelbow.com. You can follow me on Twitter at @EddieMercado. If you like this interview, you can subscribe to my channel right here. Subscribe to Bloody Elbow's YouTube channel right here. Check out these interviews. Go be a good person.